I want to bring in Democratic Congressman John Garamendi of California. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. Do you still believe that Joe Biden is the best candidate to be at the top of your ticket?
I do. I do. As he recovers from COVID, he's going to get back out of the campaign trail, and he will present a very different agenda from what we saw last night at the Republican convention, where Trump gave an hour and 32-minute rambling speech and put forth a series of policies that are absolutely horrible for the future of America and this world. When you consider Trump went after ending the effort to go away from coal and oil, rather to drill, baby, drill. When you take a look at his policies on women and women's rights and a national abortion ban, when you take a look at the issue of Ukraine, NATO, Trump spent 4 years trying to destroy NATO and cozy up to Putin.
Right.
What makes you or anybody think it's different today?
But Congressman, regardless of what you think of Trump's policies, and clearly many Democrats don't like them, polls show that 65% of Democrats think Biden should drop out. And a new CBS YouGov poll that just came out shows Biden now losing to Trump 52 to 47% in the popular vote. Only 28% of voters think Biden has the mental and cognitive health to serve another term.
Well, I disagree with those, 72?
It doesn't matter. If that's what the voters are going to do in November, you're going to lose.
We shall see. There's a long time between now and the convention, and there's an even longer time after the convention. We'll see how all of this goes. It may very well be that the COVID is a very difficult and dangerous situation for the president, and it may knock him down. That's a possibility. But he says he's back on the campaign trail. I believe he'll be strong. I believe he'll do the job of articulating the Democratic policies of the past 4 years and what needs to be done to finish the job in the next 4 years to position this nation and juxtaposition that against what was really a very strange night put forth by Donald Trump last night at their convention. So we'll see. We'll see how all this works out.
So why are so many of your Democratic colleagues in Congress coming out against him? They disagree with you. They think that not only he will lose, but many of you will lose as well.
Well, first of all, there are 435 congressional districts, each one different. There are within that list of districts, there are those heavily contested districts. And each member of Congress has the obligation and the responsibility to look to their own district and to represent that district. And I know that those people that have chosen to speak out against Biden, asking him to withdraw, they're looking not only at the large picture, but they're looking at their own district, as they should, as they must.
Well, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries have both warned President Biden that he could damage down-ballot races. Data shows voters will punish Democratic candidates who try to defend Biden's fitness to serve if they feel he's too old.
Well, we'll see about that, won't we? Because
are you not worried? Are you not worried about losing? I mean, you've talked very. You obviously don't want Donald Trump back in the White House, but if he's back in the White House and has control of both the House and Senate, he'll have power to do a lot more than if there was a democratically controlled House or Senate.
Well, of course, that's true. But also, if you look back through the history of elections, particularly the midterm elections, you will find that often the voters look to the Congress, Senate or House, as being a brake on the wild ambitions of the president. And so I think that's going to play out. Should you be correct, which I think you are not, but should that be the case, then I think the voters are going to say, well, wait a minute. We know Trump is crazy. We saw him for 4 years. If he wins, then he cannot have the House, and I'm going to vote Democratic.
To be clear, Congressman, it's not me that's saying that. It's polls that are saying that. And in fact, Leader Schumer and Leader Jeffries are also worried about that. That's what they went to talk to the president about.
Well, you opened this with a quote from Leader Jeffries. And I think that quote is appropriate. probably ought to play it again, because I think that's really where we are in this process. It's going to play itself out. But I do want to make it very, very clear that the Democrats will be united after the convention.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.